In all countries, education performance varies significantly between high and low socioeconomic groups. The achievement gap can be partly explained by genetic influences, but it is also due to differences in resources and opportunities. The aim of government regulatory and fiscal involvement is to reduce this parental advantage by helping disadvantaged individuals to achieve their desired education capabilities and preferences. There is evidence that education reduces poverty, increases personal income, makes people happier, boosts economic growth, promotes gender equality, and promotes civic engagement. A recent study adds to extensive evidence showing that differences in curriculum access for different groups of students leads to unequal outcomes. It has found that there is a vast gap between rich and poor in the opportunity to learn rigorous mathematics in Australian schools. Unequal access to the maths curriculum in Australia is amongst the highest in the OECD countries. Australia has the sixth largest gap between the top and bottom socioeconomic status quartiles in access to rigorous mathematics of 33 OECD countries. The problem to date is that policymakers have chosen to entrench a hierarchical curriculum in schools which, together with support for academically selective public and private schools, provides the affluent with privileged access to advanced learning. The study also found that unequal access to the maths curriculum is a major factor behind the large achievement gap in mathematics between rich and poor. Because of differences in content exposure for low and high income students, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. The belief that schools are the great equalizer, helping students overcome the inequalities of poverty, is therefore questionable. Education access is even more of an issue for children who are living in remote Indigenous homeland communities without schools, teachers or tutors, or who are Indigenous students whose only curriculum is in English, a language they have never heard or spoken at home. Many children in rural and remote parts of Australia travel to and from school in extreme conditions due to road quality, distance and climate. Along with flooding, heat and dust are common barriers to travel in rural and remote regions. For example, in Mungindi in northwest New South Wales, with a population of 1,000, isolation and lack of sealed roads mean that in wet weather some children cannot attend school for weeks. In some areas, non-government school students are not entitled to use school buses supplied by the government or subsidised by a government. As a result of these difficulties, students miss out on school days, parents are forced to spend considerable time and money transporting their children, and students are forced to consider less suitable educational options than their local school. Hence, their access to education is significantly impaired.
One of the key aspects of educational inequality is a lack of importance placed on the education by low SES students. Whether from friends or parental influences, the most positive change can be experienced with a change in perception and attitude towards these practices. Solutions adopted by other countries, like Britain, have been ones such as peer mentoring, bringing young, like-minded individuals together to allow for growth in potential in a non-intrusive manner. Lack of confidence is often a motivator for poor performance in school and high dropout rates. This is often caused by family issues or low socioeconomic standards. Peer support can also create a net for such individuals with positive networks of similar students, fostering respect and understanding for learning rather than a degrading spiral. Many times, children also suffer in education due to the financial pressures placed on them by their family situations. This issue has been faced often by governments and can be effectively improved with the right strategies. Implementing such practices as improving incentives for the continuation of schooling, monetary improvements for families which struggle in maintaining their children's education, providing subsidies for tuition or further learning, and providing tax cuts for families who strive to improve the educational quality of their children. This in turn will create a more positive environment for their community and lives.